Hello, my lovely friends. I have a sip of my coffee here. As you guys come on, I'm so excited for What Would Laura Do Wednesday. We moved it to Wednesday because it feels better considering Mondays I'm usually traveling. And in What Would Laura Do, I answer your questions. So if you ever have a question that you want answered, all you have to do is email or message and DM our team here, and they'll relay it to me, and I will answer them on our weekly calls here. I am thinking of moving this over to It's Laura Patricia Martin, which is my personal page, but we're kind of playing around with that right now. So if it's not here, it's there. If it's not there, it's here. Either way, we will be sharing it on the stories. But if you want your questions answered, all you have to do is DM us here, and we go through and we see which one is most aligned and we answer it. So the one we have today, I will read it off right now, is: I'm inspired by your courage to put yourself out there in such a sexually empowered and liberated way. I want to do this somehow, but I'm so scared of what my family/following will say. Does this ever come up for you? If so, how did you shift it? So I'm going to talk about that today, but before we jump in, I do want to invite you to the 5-day challenge, which is happening on Monday, February 13th. If you're catching this replay, we're going to have this up for the entirety of Q1, just you won't have access to the Telegram group, which is the bonus of showing up there live. So Tiffany, oh my goodness, hi. So if you want to come and jump in there, Shattered is what it's called. It is a 5-day challenge where I'm going to be dropping some audio files, plus we're going to have the Telegram group to support you, where it's all about stepping into your vulnerability. It's about navigating the voids, which are in relationships and dating, and how to regulate your nervous system around that. I'm really going to give you the tools and the somatics to do that, because oftentimes what we're trying to do with dating and relationship is like think our way out of it, especially as high achieving individuals that are like running these companies and doing these brands and influencing and all that kind of stuff. We got to get in the body. Alyssa, oh my God, so many fun faces are popping in here. And so we got to get in the body. So we're going to be doing that over 5 days. I'm going to walk you through some tools of getting in your body. I'm going to give you my mindset tricks. There's going to be some downloadables for you to implement. It's going to be revolutionary. I was going to do it as a paid thing, but like intuition was like, let's do something free because there's so many new people in our community. And I kind of just wanted to throw a party. And you're going to get access on the back end to 50% off my favorite course on the entire planet that we're going to be adding some cheeky little bonuses to. So if you want access, just DM us here with I'm in, and me or my team will send you the exclusive link. And that's it. So as for today, I'm going to read the question one more time, which was: I'm inspired by your courage to put yourself out there in such a sexually empowered and liberated way. I want to do this somehow, but I am so scared of what my family/following will say. Does this ever come up for you? And if so, how do you shift it? Can you relate? And here's the thing that I kind of want to knock right off the bat is I've had to become this. This is a part of Shattered. This is the vulnerability. This is uncovering who I am at my core. Like as a child, I was a very sexually explorative child. I was always like the slutty teacher, and I loved pleasure, and I would make out with my teddy bears, and I was the first one to like show porn to my friends. Like this is definitely a part of me, and I get that, but I grew up in a religious household. I grew up in, when my mom found out I was having sex with my boyfriend of 4 years, I was literally locked in a room for like 2 weeks. Like there was a lot of big T trauma around sex. Plus I've been sexually assaulted and I've been raped, and there's been all these things that have happened, domestic violence, and I lost that part of me because being seen meant danger. Being seen was too much and very scary, and my nervous system I cut parts of me away. This is what led to an eating disorder, because I kept trying to shrink my body to just not be noticed, and I tried to control my emotions by controlling what was on my plate. And so it didn't come naturally, even though after doing the trauma work and doing the inner child work, I know that's at my core, my inner child, what she wanted as a young adult, and as past the age of like 8 years old, that was not the case. And so the confidence you see was built. The way that I speak, the way that I dress, the way that I show up was built. And navigating my following, because if you guys don't know, my first business that I ran, it was gut health, IBS, anxiety, metabolism, all that kind of stuff, gut-brain connection, which I still use in some of my programs, but it's just not the emphasis. that was a very catch me at my computer. Like, those are, like, if you look at the cute little, like, photographs, it's like me typing away on a cute little laptop and very, like, suits and conservative. And it's funny because I look at those now and I'm like, there's no lingerie in that. This doesn't fit. And I get it, because at that time period, that was me, you know, that was the version of me that I knew to be true. But there was this ache, there was this desire, just as this person had written in, where it's like, I want to do this somehow, but I just, like, don't know how, because I'm afraid of my family. That's normal, right? Like, I'm afraid of my following. What are people going to think of me? That's normal. I felt that when I first started my business and talking about anything online. Like, I felt that. And then when I started wearing lingerie, it was like, I had been so grounded in who I was on the back end. And that's the first thing I want to cover. The way that I am, the way that I dress, the sexual liberation that I feel, the way that I speak, you know, the words that I use. I swear a lot. I talk about sex often. Like, I challenge belief systems. A lot of our programs you see are around, like, seductress or becoming that bitch or, you know, fuck codependency. Like, that's very much on brand for me, but that's who I am on the back end. So if my family, if my friends were to come challenge me on that, or my following, it's like, yes, of course. I remember the first time it did happen when my dad had called me. He was like, hey, I'm seeing such and such online. What are you doing? And I had explained it to him, but it was in a way of, like, I'm not defending myself. It was, this is who I am. And because I'm so grounded in that, I don't really care what you think. It doesn't bother me. And then he's like, yeah, well, such and such is passing photos around of you to her friends. And I was like, then my job is successful, right? People are going to talk. That's okay. The reason that's so scary to a lot of people is because we need to regulate that within ourselves first. So everything you see on the front end here, I've probably been doing it for months on the back end, right? When I started to have this confidence in this sexual liberation and to have this expression, I was already doing that in my past relationship. I was like, the photos that I was using at that time were from a boudoir shoot that I shot for Valentine's Day last year. You know, those were the things I was trying to get more comfortable. I was trying to explore these things. I was trying to use my voice more. I was trying to express my needs, my wants, my desires, my vulnerability, which is exactly what, you know, birth shattered. Is this, how do I regulate myself enough so that I can get control of my needs, my wants, my desires? Can I really let myself feel these things, communicate it effectively, so therefore I am a match for what I desire? Because if we aren't willing to ask for what we want because we're afraid that it's going to be shamed or demonized or shot down, we can't get what we want. And I know a big thing for my mission is sexual liberation. I know for me, this is at my core. My core is sexual liberation. Like I said, I've always loved sex. I went to school originally to be a sex therapist, but then I stopped because I was like, I don't want to explain the way that I think to the world, to a bunch of 20-year-olds that don't actually want to be in the lecture hall, and I just don't want to do that. And now it's a good chuckle because that's exactly not what I do, because it's a bunch of people that want to listen to me talk. And they, you know, there's no money gap or cap. And so it's fun, but we're always on this path that we are meant to be doing. But I digress, because the core of this question is like, do you does this ever come up for you? Being afraid of what my family and my following will say? Of course it does. I personally am not connected with my family on any of my social media platforms. Do I worry about, you know, what people from high school are going to say or whatever? I don't worry too much about it, because the core of that would be like, what if they find out? Find out what? That I love sex? That I love to talk about it? That I love to have it? That I love to express it? That I love my body after a decade of an eating disorder, a decade plus of an eating disorder, of domestic violence, of rape, of abandonment, of people cheating on me, like of things that tried to steal my fucking shine, and therefore I stand so fucking proudly in what I have. Get back to your why. And this is what I said to this woman is like, one, make sure that you're doing it on the back end. Like, do this in your life. Show up in your partnership in this way. Show up with the confidence, with the sexuality, with the liberation that you want in your everyday life. Sometimes it's easier to just do that with your partner, like your romantic partner at first, and then it starts to bleed that. Like, someone that is getting rocked their socks off and having amazing sex, we know. Like, there's an energy, there's a glow to them, right? And so when you start to get more comfortable there, it starts to go to the other way. The other thing I said to her was, what is your why for wanting to do this? And I know the industry that she works in, I know the pathway that she's on and the movement that she's making, and it's so beneficial. It would be so beneficial for her community to see someone that's been through what she's gone through, to step into her power and to own that, of course. Of course. And so, like I said, my why is because I got that ripped away from me. There were so many attempts at it. There were so many attempts to steal my confidence. There were so many attempts to steal my sexual liberation, to steal my joy, to be anything except me, because society had told me it was dangerous, essentially. And a long time I lost it. I lost that shine. I got very scared. Like I said, I shrunk my body. I shrunk my mission. I got very quiet. I was people-pleasing. I self-abandoned. I would use substances to give me this false sense of being confident. I would overdrink. I would use a whole bunch of drugs. I was never me. I didn't get it because I was told me wasn't good enough. And if I was fully me, things would happen. So I had to claim it. And it became this movement in my soul that even when I was telling her this, it was sometimes not that I forget my why, but like there's just so many things that are it, but like a big one is the sexual expression, to be confidently embodied in who you truly are and to own that in whatever way that means, right? That is such a gift, that is such an art, and that challenges a whole bunch of people because a lot of people aren't that way. And so to be able to claim that for myself and to then gift that to the world, to walk with people that feel comfortable enough to ask me questions like this, to be like, yeah, but what do you do? It's like, I stay in my fucking lane. I stay in my lane. And I have enough of my regulation tools, which is what I'm teaching you inside of Shattered, which I expand more inside of Sacredhood, which we like implement to the max inside of Iconic. Like, these tools that I use, it's like I have such blinders on that doesn't matter. When my dad called me or when he told me someone was sending this about that, and like, that's my family talking shit. I made it. Like, that's one of the things that I can make a joke around. But yes, that inner child inside of me is screaming, is crying, is feeling unworthy, is feeling like she's unseen, is feeling like she's being judged, is feeling like she's being rejected, and therefore going to be abandoned because of who she truly is at her core. Like, yes, can I hold that? Can I sit in that? Can I own that? Because who you are is who you know yourself to be. Something my mentor has been reflecting back to me recently has been around this kind of topic of, you know, when you know yourself so much, it's such a gift when someone asks you who you are, because then you get to tell them, you get to show them. And if they challenge you on that and they're like, you're a slut, or you're doing whatever, and you're selling your body, and what about OnlyFans? Like, whatever the fuck comes into the DMs or what I hear, it's like, that's cute. But who I know myself to be in my mission, I have no shame in any of that. My body knows. My regulation tools I have, like, I let my human have a moment, and then we're back and we're like, baby, we made it. Let me remind you who the fuck I am. Let me remind you the steps that it took to fucking get here, and how proud of that girl I am that became this woman that y'all see. It's an art. It's these stepping stones. It's taking radical fucking responsibility. I have a mission. I'm responsible for that mission. I'm not going to look to you. I'm not going to look to anyone else to validate that for me. I'm going to do it no matter what. That's the art that I have within my soul that I get to express in the deepest of gratitude every single day. And so it's looking at that for yourself. What is that for you? How do you want to show up in the world? And are you extending your validation to things outside of you? And if you are, how can you bring that back? Where did we learn that we're only good enough if we're getting the applause of people, especially our fucking parents, right? We were taught that through the school system. We're taught that through our family line. If parents, specifically our fathers, don't approve of what we're doing, bad girl. We fight for that love, and then we forget that we're 30. And we get to create the things that we want to see in this world and choose whose validation we seek. It's normal to seek validation, of course. Just who are we seeking it from? Whose opinions do we actually care about? Brene Brown, you know, I'm going to butcher it and I'm going to lure it up where it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think if you're not even in the arena. I don't care. And especially not my arena, you know, and like having that strong bone. And like, I'm not going to lie, the last week, it was like this fucking ayahuasca journey through my soul, navigating these things, because we are on this big mission and there are more eyes on us and we are navigating things. And we're back, right? Like it's you get to have your human, and then you have your tools, and then you get to implement and you get to move. It's getting comfortable. We're not about to stress your nervous system. We're stretching it. And that's how that comes. Where can I start to stretch what I'm comfortable with? Where can I start to stretch where my sexual liberation comes from? Where can I start to stretch how I desire to be seen in this world and what I want to communicate with my partner and where I want to explore in the bedroom? Like, where can I start to stretch this? Because if we're just jumping in and we're doing this whole thing and we're seeing all these, you know, people exploring their sexuality on the internet and we're jumping, like, that can shock us. And that's, if you know our brand, if you think of it as a triangle, right? The bottom is living sanctuary. That's your most regulated form. And then we have the bougie savage and the sacred slut. If we are just jumping into the sacred slut and we don't have a living sanctuary, we're going to be so dysregulated, so performance-based, so out of body. That's not how we get to the liberation that we so deeply desire. It's not lace and lube. That's not the liberation. It's who you know yourself to be at the core, and starting to explore that and starting to shatter these belief systems that we feel like we have to be the good girl, we have to protect all these other people, and like, what are they going to think about me, and am I going to belong, and all these kind of things, which are, that's your primal brain. That's normal. Specifically as women, if we didn't belong to the tribe, we'd be dead, right? So it makes sense that we want to belong and we want people to choose us, specifically our family, and then the following that we built up, of course. Those are normal. That's the human. And you're a powerful fucking leader that can control her thoughts to control her body. So if your body is feeling clenched around that, but you're deeply desiring it, how can we get the body on board to go with what the deep desire is? Getting tongue twisted on that, right? So that's where I would start. So to repeat the question, what she was asking was, I'm inspired by your courage to put yourself out there in such a sexually empowered and liberated way. I want to do this somehow, but I'm so scared of what my family and following will say. Does this ever come up for you? And if so, how did you shift it? So if you're just coming in and you're tuning in now, go back to the beginning and listen to the whole thing, because this was banging. But what I really dove into was owning this in your real life. This isn't just coming up on, like, I didn't just come on social media one day in lingerie and hope that that would validate and somehow get me comfortable. No, I was doing this for months on the back end because I was determined to claim my sexuality from giving it away to so many people over the years. I just gave away my innocence. I gave away my power. I gave away everything since I was a kid when it was taken, you know? And then once we do that, what is your why? What is the mission behind this? Why do you want to be sexually liberated? What does that mean for you, right? Before I even knew I was going to be a mentor and a coach, this was so, if my daughter ever had to, God forbid, if my daughter ever had to walk the path that I had to walk, what is the story that I want to tell her of me coming out of it? That's what led me through this whole fucking thing. That's what got me here. It wasn't, I had this platform and these people and this thing and thousands of downloads and all the kind of stuff that are happening and clients and hundreds impacted. Like, that wasn't it fully yet. It was, if my daughter got robbed of her sexual liberation, of her confidence, and was told she was too much and she had these things happen to her, if my daughter was assaulted, if my daughter was beaten and abused, how do I want to tell her how I got through it? That was my mission. And so if you're struggling with this confidence and this liberation and you wanting to bring this to your community, it's get comfortable with yourself in it first, and then really attach yourself to the why. What is it? Is it to be seen? Because that would be going back to that sacred slut that isn't from a regulated place with the living sanctuary. Now, being seen is fun. That's ego. We do enjoy it. It does. Booty thirst traps are good for marketing, not gonna lie. But is it because you want to show people how to be liberated and how to be confident in who they are and really set this new tone when it comes to femininity and power? Especially people that have gone through grief and trauma and loss and addiction and things that were supposed to steal their joy. You want to show them like, hey, here's where I've been, here's where I am. Look, you can too, because this is how we change the fucking world. That's the secret sauce, my baby. That's it. So connect to your why. Okay? That is it for today. I'm going to go fix my little nail here that fell off, and I'm so sad about it, and I cannot wait. Although it's been kind of this like kinky little thing that I've been playing with because it's funny. Anyways, I will see you next week for What Would Laura Do? Message us for your questions. Share this with someone that it lands on their heart, that you feel like, yeah, they've been talking about this for a while. They've been wanting femininity. They've been wanting to let people in, because at the core, right, this goes hand in hand with Shattered, which is opening up to vulnerability. Sexual liberation is it's so fucking vulnerable. It is so deep ingrained in us that it's wrong, and you know, it's too much, and it's all these kind of things, that it's one of the most vulnerable things to step into, of like, here, let me show you, let me gift you the art of me. Let me gift you my most vulnerable, naked state. And because I respect me in this, that's what's met, right? It's so vulnerable. So working and regulating around that, come hang out in Shattered. Like I said, if you're getting this for Q1 of 2023, come hang out there. And if you're catching it right now, message us so you can get into that Telegram group, because I'm going to be doing live coaching in there, which is usually a $777 value for a week of Voxer coaching with me. So we're going to be doing it in there. I'm gifting it. We're going to have giveaways. I'm going to give you access to a 50% off sneaky little, cheeky little favorite program of mine. And it's going to be revolutionary for anyone that is feeling like they have such a hard front and they're looking to have a soft center. They're looking to let people in. They're looking to communicate their needs in a powerful way. They're looking to navigate the voids of dating while holding their power and being vulnerable and creating deeper connections. Like, this is going to be fucking revolutionary. So message me, I'm in. This is Shattered. It starts on February 13th. It's going to be for 5 days long. We have a Telegram group that's a complimentary access that's only available for these 5 days, where you're going to get live coaching from me. So all you have to do is message me there, and we'll give you the exclusive invite. But I love you. I have loved this conversation. I think it's such a big one around confidence and sexual liberation. So share this with someone and let us know what comes up for you in the comments, because it means the world to me. So I love you. And holy pickles, it's almost Valentine's Day. What are you doing? Okay, bye.